Provincial News Update. The Provincial Governor signed Executive Order 6 last March 10, 2021. Under the latest order, eligible travelers entering the province will no longer need a negative swab test. This order is an addition the amendments of Executive Order 5. Section 1. Executive Order 5, Section F, Additional Provisions, is hereby amended and now read as follows. F. Additional Provisions. 1. This set of guidelines shall be binding in all component cities and municipalities within the province of Negros Oriental. 2. Travelers are no longer required to present a negative RT-PCR result. 3. Upon arrival, if a traveler manifests signs and symptoms of influenza-like illnesses after assessment by the medical team, the traveler shall be subjected to an RT-PCR test subject to the provisions of the Provincial Board Ordinance 27, Series of 2020, as follows. Section 6. Expenses. The expenses of the RT-PCR testing shall be shouldered by the concerned LSI or ROF at 2,700 pesos. However, if the concerned LSI is indigent, as determined by the Municipal Social Welfare Development or City Social Welfare Development, the same shall be shouldered by the receiving municipality or city with a 50% counterpart from the province. However, if the town can provide for its test kit, swab with UTM, extraction kit and detention kit, the town shall pay only for the running of the test in the amount of 500 pesos. The expenses for the said RT-PCR testing of the ROF shall be shouldered by the province if he or she is an overseas Filipino worker. If not, ROF shall pay for his or her RT-PCR testing expenses. However, if the said LSI or ROF qualifies, said expenses shall be shouldered by full health. While waiting for the RT-PCR result, the traveler shall be held at the quarantine or isolation facility of sea, air and land terminals per Resolution 101-E, issued by the National IATF. If found positive of COVID-19, the traveler shall be transferred to an isolation facility managed by the LGU of final destination. If found negative of COVID-19, the traveler shall be allowed to go home. 4. All cities and municipalities shall direct their respective health emergency response teams to monitor the health status of the travelers who arrived in their respective areas, and if a traveler develops symptoms of ILI, to report this immediately to their local health office. Section 2. Travelers are required to coordinate with their LGUs of final destination pending the institutionalization of the Safe, Swift, and Smart Passage (S-Pass) travel management system in accordance to Resolution 101-D1, issued by the National IATF. Section 3. Border control remains to be in effect. Section 4. Guidelines for returning overseas Filipinos. Returning overseas Filipinos are covered by Resolution 96 issued by the National IATF, as follows. A. The recommendations of the IATF Technical Working Group on COVID-19 new variants are adopted. Effective February 1, 2021, the testing and quarantine protocols for all persons allowed and quarantine protocols for all persons allowed entry in the Philippines shall be as follows. 1. Arriving passengers, regardless of origin, shall be required to undergo facility-based quarantine upon arrival. 2. Unless the passenger exhibits symptoms at an earlier date while on quarantine, reverse transcription polymerase chain reaction (RT-PCR) test shall be conducted on the 5th day from date of arrival in the Philippines. 3. If the RT-PCR test yields a negative result, the passenger shall be endorsed to their local government units of destination, who shall then coordinate transfer of said passenger from quarantine facility to the LGU and strictly monitor the remainder of the 14-day quarantine through their respective health emergency response teams. 4. In all of the foregoing, appropriate patient management as outlined in the Philippine Society for Microbiology and Infectious Diseases Guidelines and the Department of Health Omnibus Interim Guidelines on Prevention, Detection, Isolation, Treatment and Reintegration Strategies for COVID-19 shall still be observed. Section 5. Authorized persons outside of residence are covered by Resolution 98A and Resolution 101C 1 and 2, issued by the National IATF, as follows. To enable national government agencies and their attached agencies, including the Central Bank of the Philippines and the Philippine Deposit Insurance Corporation, to fulfill their respective mandates, government officials or personnel on official business shall be allowed unimpeded travel to their place of destination, and shall not be required to undergo mandatory testing and/or quarantine protocols of the local government units of destination, provided that they a. present valid IDs issued by their respective government agency. B. Present original or certified true copy of travel authority or order issued by the department secretary or his or her designated official. C. Pass symptom screening at the port upon arrival, and in the case of public transport, upon boarding. D. Strictly comply with the minimum public health standards. Section 6. Separability Clause. If any part, section, or provision of this executive order is held invalid or unconstitutional, other provisions not affected thereby shall remain in full force and effect. Section 7. Repealing Clause. All previous executive orders issued that are inconsistent with the provisions of this executive order are hereby repealed or modified accordingly. Please be reminded that under the National IATF Resolution 101, local travelers do not need testing or quarantine unless the local government unit or LGU of destination says otherwise. Contact your LGU of origin and destination before making travel plans. Keep yourself up to date. Subscribe to our channel, and click on the notification bell so you won't miss any of our video.